Hi there, today I'm unboxing a gimbal. So this particular gimbal is by a company called FeiyuTech and it's the G6 model, and it's actually primarily for action cameras, so sports cameras. It's aimed for cameras like the GoPro Hero 3, 4, 5 and 6, and even the Session as well, the GoPro Session, Sony RX0, Wacam 4K, and can also be used with other sort of budget action cameras. So I've got a budget camera here, but I'm planning to buy a GoPro very soon. So we actually have another channel called Geek Street Travels, so check it out if you can, links in the corner. So the idea being, we'll be doing a lot of travel videos for all the places we're visiting, so this might be a good way of sort of making videos on the go with an action camera. So let's move on and have a quick look around the packaging. It's a very nice package, sort of premium feel to it really. Around the edges you don't see much other than just branding, plain here, the model there, and some details about the company. Okay, let's open it up and see what we get in the packaging. Okay, carry pack, good feel to it. Has a strong rubber handle on there, so obviously you can just walk along like this. Material side, very strong as well, very well built actually. The actual handle, the padding around this as well, it's quite soft, it's not a hard case, so it can sort of be squashed if you've put a lot of weight on this. You wouldn't really want to pack this, I'd say, in a suitcase. You might be able to get away with it, I guess, without getting it damaged, but still, you'd really want to carry this in a rucksack, for example, if you're traveling. Okay, there's nothing much in terms of branding on there other than the company name here. Let's open it up and see what you get inside. Okay, so you've got an envelope initially. Okay, warranty card. Details you put in there. Okay, you've got some instructions. Let's have a quick flick through. All in English, which is great. Another set of instructions, but this time all in Chinese. Okay, and that's that. Right, next you've got a small box, and inside this box you get a cable which is mini USB to Type C. Okay, and then you get a mini USB to USB charging cable, it looks like, and 2 screws. Okay, as well as that, looks like you get a battery for the gimbal, so that's good. A serviceable battery, so you can take it out if it's faulty, so that's quite nice. And then the actual gimbal itself. Let me take the Velcro strap off that. Okay. So we've got a bit of a rubber feel here on the gimbal. It's not too heavy. Generally feels quite light. Rest of it is metal, and there's multiple finishes on there. So you've got rubber here, you've got metal here, buttons there, got a cover there. Okay, let me give you a bit of a close-up on the bits and pieces. So you've got an area there we could mount it on a tripod, for example, or you can mount accessories on the side, like for example a microphone. You've got a mounting point at the bottom as well, so you can put it on the tripod, so you can just sit it straight down. Okay, button there, adjuster there, another button there, got a rubber cover for the USB, so micro USB charge point. You've got like a joystick here, LCD screen, mode and power button, and record button, and that's it. That's all you have on there. So really, the best way to describe a gimbal is really a selfie stick on steroids, you could say, you know. and a very advanced way of recording. So let's move on to the rest. So this is motorized in here, if you're wondering. This is motorized and this is motorized. So there's 3 levels, so 3 axes of stabilization. Okay, so if I move this off, you've got a micro USB port there. So the short cable must be for connecting this to your GoPro to charge it up. Okay, and you've got some padding here which can be removed, and it's secured with these screws here. So let's take them off. Okay, so let's put our action camera in there. So the way we're going to position this is just like that, and we take the other bracket just here, and there you go, fits in quite well. Next thing we want to do, if we unscrew the bottom, we can place the battery in. So that's the positive, that's the negative, and it pops in this way. And there you go. It's ready for action. Okay, so let's show the other bits very briefly. So your charging cable for the gimbal, short length to it, build quality seems fine, and it's as simple as just putting it in here to charge. Just put it in, and that's it. And you plug that into your charger. Being USB is quite good. You can actually plug it into a power bank if you wanted to. So that's quite useful. And the fact that this is powered, and if you had a GoPro or an action camera with a Type-C connector, pull this out and put this in one end, like I've briefly described before, and the other one, so the other end, the Type-C, would go into your actual action camera. So that will keep that charge. So that's really useful way of doing things, you know, keeps you going for a while. You've also got some smaller screws as well. Let me show that. So just size-wise, the existing screws come up to there, if I can indicate, and this one's slightly shorter. And that's it. Okay, so let's go through some of the actual options you have on the gimbal. So let's power it on. So if you hold on to this button here, you see the display filling up, and then it turns on. Now, the cool thing about a gimbal is, watch this, as I turn it, it just stays stable. So that's the whole point. So the way this has been designed is quite cool, because this particular bracket is quite low down, so you can see the display, which is quite good. Now, button wise, you've got a joystick here. If I can show, if I press that, so I can hold it in one position and it will spin round. If you had a GoPro and it was connected, obviously wirelessly to the actual gimbal, you've got this option here to actually take pictures and record. So start off directly from here. So this is your joystick, this is your function button, this is your shutter button, then you've got settings button here, your charging point, and then this is your horizontal adjustment button and trigger button. So obviously your joystick I've shown already, it gives you complete movement, and then your horizontal adjustment button changes it like that. Okay, so the button here is the function button. If I single click that, it actually alternates between panning mode and lock mode. So if I go like that, that's panning mode. You can see it slowly panning as I turn. If I go into lock mode, it's locked into position, so it will just stay in that straight position. Okay, if I double tap it, it goes into a follow mode. So if you've got a subject, it will just follow it. Okay, and let's go back into single. I can still adjust it. Now if I triple tap it, let me just put it into a better position. 1, 2, 3. Spins round and goes into like a selfie mode. So if you're a blogger, a vlogger for example, you can just obviously focus on yourself, and then once you're done, you can just spin it round again. Okay, if you press the button 4 times, what happens then, you can actually do an auto rotation mode, and what that means, you can actually get it panning slowly from one direction to another at a certain speed, and that can be used for either doing a time lapse or just a general video. So that, I think, was the winner for me, just to be able to do that. So I'd like to be in a position where I can just position it somewhere and just have it panning across and just do a time lapse of, say for instance, people walking past a certain area. Okay, so if you tap it 5 times, that's actually an initialization mode, where if the gimbal is in an odd state and it's not very stable, it can auto initialize, you know, and get its calibration back again. Okay, now the button at the back, which is here, that's actually called the trigger button. So if you press and hold, it actually goes from a panning mode or follow mode to a lock mode. So it locks on to an area. So if I hold on to it, so it locks into that position and it won't pan anymore in those directions. If I release, it will continue panning. Yeah, and on here you actually see it go into lock mode, so that's quite useful. Having that display, I think it's really good as well. Now if you've adjusted it, so for example, adjust it like that, if I double tap the trigger button, it'll actually reset the positioning. There you go, just go straight back into like a default position. Okay, so the button here is the settings button, and if I click that, if I had actually a GoPro on there, I should in theory be able to change the settings on the GoPro. So things like the actual resolution, the megapixel and the frames rate on there. So that's quite a useful thing to do while you're in motion if you want to flip between different things. So the LCD display you get on the device, if I can show, the corner item there is Bluetooth connectivity, then you've got Wi-Fi connectivity, then you've got the hold or follow, or if I hold on to it, you've got the lock indicator, then you've got the battery capacity there, and if it's connected to your camera, and at the moment it's not. Okay, so the actual gimbal is sitting on the floor at the moment. It's on, and just to show, it can just stay even without a stand, just stable. Okay, let me take my mobile now and let's install the app. So go to the Play Store, and there you go, that's the one you want. So go to that and install that. Okay, so the app's installed now, so let's click open, and gimbal for action camera or gimbal for smartphone. So it's a generic app. Obviously they've got other devices, so other gimbals you can connect to. So let's go gimbal for action camera, and it's the G6. And if we just click here now, there's the actual gimbal. It's giving off actual hotspot, and it's just connecting now in the background. And there you go, it's connected. So if that works, let's give it a second. There you go. remotely connects and you can adjust it. All the facilities are here, and the good thing about this is you can actually adjust the settings on the actual app. So this is where it just takes it to another level. Okay, so if we go into settings, this is all the different options you've got and all the adjustments you can make. So for instance, a good one to show is joystick settings. So you can actually adjust the speed it moves around. So if you wanted to have your own in control panning shot where you're just going at a certain angle and then going up or down, you can just make it as slow as you want or as fast as you want. Okay. Auto rotation rate, so this is really good. So this is the situation where you want to do an auto pan and you can actually set the speed you want things to turn at. So you can get it as slow as you want or as fast as you want. So for both the panning and the tilting. So really impressive. This is the thing that really sells it for me. And then obviously you've got Wi-Fi settings and default device. So in case you messed up the settings and you just want to reset it. Okay, so obviously I've shown you've got the movement there in any direction. Even with this, you can flip the camera all over the place. You can take pictures off this. So if I had the GoPro connected and it's connected to the gimbal itself, then you could take pictures directly. You can reset it as well, so that's good. So if I put it into an odd position and let's go like that, completely mess it up, just hit that, it just resets completely. So that's good, you don't have to fiddle around with it. So as I've mentioned before, I'm really after this for a number of reasons, one of them being the auto rotation mode. So this is quite a cool feature. I'll put a snippet on this video, but if I press the function button 4 times, you hear a beep, and then all you do, you position the camera where you want, hit it once, and then you position it again, and then what it will do from the first position to the second position, it will just auto rotate until it gets into that second position. And this is where it would make some amazing time lapses. Okay, so here's the gimbal in action. So here's the whole point of it. So if I move it now, you'll just see the camera will constantly maintain its position no matter how I move it. Now, the way they've built this, I've already mentioned, it's nice that this particular part of it is quite low down so you can see the screen. Now, if I move side to this side, very impressive. Just maintains that position constantly. So if you're after videos while you're walking along, you'll get very smooth shots with this. It'll maintain the 3 axes and just ensure that picture is constantly stable. And even the panning, if you see that, it's very smooth as I'm moving along. Okay, so I've mounted the gimbal on my tripod and I've got it in the lock position, meaning it will just focus on a particular direction and not move. So there you go, I'm spinning the tripod around and you can tell it's moving just by the fact that all the buttons are coming around, as you can see there. And it's still maintaining its direction, and to only move it, you just do that. Pretty impressive. Okay, so you've seen this gimbal unboxed. You've seen how easy it is to set up. You've seen all the options you get on there. Quite comprehensive and very easy to use. It's nice, it's got the app that connects to it, and you could even adjust all the settings regarding the joystick and the panning, etc. So very granular level of adjustment on there. So there you go. Hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing this. Thanks for viewing, and don't forget to like and subscribe.